What if I told you it's possible to build a real estate empire while you're sipping cocktails on a beach or trying new cafes in a different city in Europe, all while back home, you're churning out and doing deals, flipping properties, managing rentals, and just having a real estate business? It probably sounds too good to be true, but make sure you stick around and watch this entire video where I'm gonna break down all the systems I put in place to allow me to run my real estate business from anywhere in the world and how you can do it too. Most investors believe that they can't be away from their properties in order to run a successful real estate business. They think you have to be hands-on, there in the present in case of tenant emergencies, emergency repairs, contractor management on flips, or new construction walkthroughs. It seems impossible to handle all this if you're thousands of miles away in a different time zone. But that's a vicious cycle that keeps people stuck, chained to their hometown and not allowing them to enjoy their life and enjoy the freedom that real estate is supposed to bring. And the solution to this problem is 3 key things: systems, automation, and delegation. I'm gonna give you the blueprint on how to utilize these 3 things to be able to run your real estate business from anywhere in the world. My name is Adriel and I've been doing real estate for the last 10 years. I self-manage a 14-unit and a 21-unit apartment complex, along with 2 other Airbnbs, and I have my whole real estate flipping business where I'm doing 4 to 5 deals a month, wholesaling, flipping, and 3 to 4 new construction projects a year. Having the right system allows me to manage all of this and scale while still having the freedom to be location independent. For my multifamily properties, I use property management software to help automate 80 to 90% of all the tasks I need to do. For me personally, I use Buildium, but there are other alternatives as well. And I'm no way sponsored by Buildium in this video. I'm just telling you what I'm using and what works for me for the time I've owned these apartment complexes. So in Buildium, you can do background checks on tenants, have tenants apply, send out leases for electronic signature. It also collects rent and sends out automatic notices if they're behind on rent or they have late fees. It also allows the tenants to submit maintenance requests, and it's just a very powerful tool that has everything on one site. And it takes a lot of the property management day-to-day tasks off of my hands. For the wholesaling and flipping business, to generate consistent leads and have consistent deal flow, I have a ton of systems there as well. The first and most important is having an automatic dialer for your cold call marketing. I use Ready Mode, but you can use any dialer out there. Batch dialer, Mojo dialer, it really doesn't matter. Just pick one, learn it, and start to use it. The second most important system is going to be your CRM, or where you store and manage all your leads for your deals. I use Podio because it's a very customizable and powerful system. There's a lot of other systems out there like Go High Level, Batch Leads. Just choose whatever one that works for you. Now, I do use a bunch of other ancillary systems, but those are kind of the main ones that I use every day that really help my business grow. So the next step is automation. You want to make sure all these systems flow together and synchronize. For example, when a cold caller gets a lead from their cold calling system, they can just click one button and it pushes to my Podio CRM along with all their notes, the Google Map location, and the Zillow link. This allows me to just go in and have all the information ready to analyze the deal. The same goes on my property management side. I let my contractors get forwarded on emails from the Buildium software whenever a maintenance request comes in. So that way, if I'm in another country in a different time zone and I'm sleeping, and an emergency request comes in, they're able to see the request, the maintenance repair, and already get started on it before I even wake up. And last is delegation. Now this one will take some time to build up because you need people that you can trust. I have a trusted maintenance man that lives near my apartment complexes, and I send him all the maintenance work that is required. The same goes for evictions. I have a lawyer that I use that if I ever need to do an eviction, I can have him do all the work, send the notices, and even attend the eviction hearing for a fee. That way, I'm not ever needed to be there because I've delegated it to people I trust that can do the job. Now, for flipping houses or new construction, that's gonna take some more work. You're going to want to do some flips or new construction builds in person with the builder or contractors to get to know them, to know their quality of work, and to make sure you can trust them to do the right thing. That means doing the job correctly and not cutting corners, and that they're honest about the materials they purchase or anything they need reimbursements for. Once you have that trust and you have good contractors, then you can run these projects without having to be there in person, just off phone calls and texts and pictures to your contractor. That's how I've been able to do several flips 100% remote without ever seeing the property this year, is because I can send texts and pictures to contractors that I can trust. The same goes for new construction. If you can hire a reputable builder and trust them to run the project correctly, you can be out of country and out of touch, and the project will still continue forward without delays. Now, all that automation and delegation might sound good, but what happens when there's an emergency? Like a pipe bursts and floods your property, or a tenant gets injured on your property, and you're halfway across the world without cell phone or email service. This actually happened to me back in 2018 when I was visiting Machu Picchu. A tenant had entered a room in his apartment that was closed off by my maintenance man because he was doing repairs to the floor after a roof leak from a recent hurricane. He had ripped out all the floor and subfloor, but he was waiting on some material that was out of stock due to the hurricane before he could finish putting back the subfloor and floors. He had locked the room and told the tenant, hey, do not go in this room because there is no flooring. However, my tenant didn't listen, and he went in the room and he fell through the ceiling from the second floor into the bedroom of a first floor apartment where a different tenant was staying. I woke up to several frantic missed calls from my maintenance man. This is every landlord's worst nightmare, especially from across the globe. But even emergencies like this can be mitigated if you're prepared. Let me show you how I did it. So the phone number on the front of my apartments is actually routed to a live answering service that answers the phone 24/7. And they're based here in the USA and employ US-born, natural-speaking English citizens. Their job is they'll filter the call when it comes in, whether it's a repair request, general inquiry, or an emergency. And if it's an emergency, they will forward the phone call to my emergency contact, which is my maintenance man, as well as send an email and text message to my maintenance man and to me as the owner. This ensures that emergencies are handled and attended to immediately. So that's what happened. The tenant ended up calling the phone number on the apartment complex, who then contacted my maintenance man, who got out there immediately to assess the situation and figure everything out. By the time I was able to call my maintenance man back, everything had been sorted out, the tenant was okay, was checked out medically, and they had started repairs to the extra damage already. So automation and delegation handled the emergencies on my rental properties just fine. But what if you're a wholesaler or a flipper and you need constant deal flow and constant new leads and new deals to acquire to keep your business running? How can you do that while you're in a different country all the time? It might seem impossible. How can you trust someone to do due diligence, inspections, paperwork, negotiations, and sign contracts if you're not there where the property is located? But thankfully, with today's technology and having the right team, you can do this from anywhere in the world. I've done deals all over Texas and in multiple other states as well. And what I do is I have a realtor in each city that I market in that is able to go out and walk properties, meet with the seller to sign contracts, and in general, check out everything in that market. The same goes for basic maintenance and touch-up. I have a handyman in almost every single market that can go in and do minor repairs and touch-ups if needed for any property that I have. Let me break it down step by step with an example. So I have a virtual assistant whose only job is to gather data. Once he gathers the data and skip traces it with the phone numbers, he uploads it to the automatic dialer. And from there, my cold calling virtual assistant can start making cold calls to ask sellers if they want to sell their property. Once they're interested, he pushes the qualification notes to my CRM, to Podio, where I'm able to look at the notes, analyze the deal, and see what the property is worth and have offer numbers. And then I can make an offer over the phone or through email to the seller. If the seller is close to my number or is considering my offer, I can then send one of my agents in that market or in that city to go walk the property and take detailed photos of the inside and the outside, just to verify the condition that they told us over the phone. Once they do that, I look at the photos and confirm my offer or adjust it if I need to. And if we agree on the price, then I can send a contract electronically through DocuSign or any other electronic signature service. And from there, once the contract is executed, I send the final signed contract via email to my title company. Do the title work, and when it's ready to close, I just wire funds from my bank account or from one of my lenders, and that whole process and that whole transaction was 100% remote. Then I'll probably get my maintenance man or cleaning lady to touch up the property and then list it for sale. If it's an actual full rehab and flip, I'll send the contractors over that I trust who'll give me quotes and bids on how much to renovate the property. So as you can see, I deliberately designed the system and workflow of all my processes to allow me to be location independent and have everything be able to be handled remotely. Look, I've sent 6-figure wires to buy a property from New Zealand. I've closed on selling my new construction homes while I was in Japan and Dubai. You can 100% build a completely remote real estate business. I hope this video gave you ideas or opened your mind on how you can do and run a real estate business remotely. And if any of you guys are watching already do real estate remotely in a different state or even a different country, leave a comment below on where you live and where you're doing real estate.